Let's start with a really provocative idea. What if I told you that your deepest desires aren't actually yours? I know, it sounds a bit out there, but what if that career you're chasing, that car you're dreaming of, that whole lifestyle you're building, what if you didn't really choose any of it? It's a question we don't often ask ourselves, right? We just want things. We think our ambitions just bubble up from somewhere deep inside us. We see something, we decide we want it, and that's the end of the story. But is it really that simple? Well, here's the theory we're digging into. It suggests that human desire isn't spontaneous at all. It's actually a social process. We learn what to want by watching other people. We see what they want, and suddenly we want it too. We imitate. And the thinker who uncovered this hidden dynamic is pretty fascinating. His name was René Girard, and you can think of him as a kind of detective of the human spirit. He dove into classic literature, history, and mythology, and he started noticing clues that everyone else had missed, a hidden pattern that explains the very engine of our desires. So, if we're all just copying our desires, the big question is, who are we copying from? This is where Girard introduces this powerful idea of models. Let's break down what that really means. The official term is mimetic desire. Now, mimesis is just a fancy Greek word that means imitation. The idea is simple, but it's profound. We want things because other people want them. Those people are our models, and their desires are, well, they're contagious. Think about it for a second. A new phone is just a piece of glass and metal. A specific job is just a title and a list of tasks. They don't have any built-in value. It's only when a model, someone we admire or maybe even envy, desires that thing that it suddenly lights up for us. They're like a big glowing arrow pointing to something and saying, hey, pay attention, this is worth wanting. Now, Girard splits these models into two key types. On one hand, you've got your outer world models. These are the people who are way outside our daily lives. Think of historical figures, huge celebrities, mentors you've never met. We can admire them, we can be inspired by them, but there's no real risk of conflict. But then you have the inner world models, and these are the people right in front of you. Your friends, your family, your coworkers, the person next door. And because you're in the same world, their desires don't just inspire you, they can easily ignite competition and rivalry. And you can probably see where this is going. In our modern world, social media completely blows up the line between these two worlds. It takes those distant, outer world celebrities and influencers and beams them right into our pockets, making them feel like they're in our inner circle. All of a sudden, that person's perfect vacation or your old school friend's big promotion feels incredibly personal and intensely competitive. Social media is basically a giant engine for mimetic rivalry. Okay, to really bring this theory to life, let's talk about one of the greatest rivalries in automotive history. Seriously, it's a story that perfectly shows how this mimetic desire can go from admiration to an all-out war. So, picture this. Ferruccio Lamborghini is this super successful tractor maker in Italy. He's rich, he loves fast cars, so of course, he buys a Ferrari. But the clutch is terrible, it keeps breaking. Being a brilliant mechanic, he takes it apart and realizes it's the same kind of clutch he uses in his tractors. So he goes to complain to the man himself, the legendary Enzo Ferrari. And Ferrari, being Ferrari, basically tells him to stick to tractors and leave the real cars to him. Well, that was a mistake. In that one moment of dismissal, a fire was lit. Lamborghini didn't just want to fix his car anymore, he wanted to build a better one. And this is just a perfect example of Girard's theory in action. At first, Enzo Ferrari was a distant, outer world model for Lamborghini, an icon he admired. But that face-to-face insult, it yanked Ferrari right into Lamborghini's inner world. He was no longer a hero. He was now a direct rival to be beaten. And Lamborghini's desire completely transformed, from simply wanting to own a great car to a burning need to create a superior one. But Lamborghini wasn't just fueled by anger. He was incredibly smart about it. He moved like a matador. First, he learned. He took Ferrari's cars apart to understand every last detail. Then, he identified the weakness, that clutch, and he attacked that vulnerability, making his own cars stronger. And finally, he conquered. He released cars like the incredible Miura, which were so revolutionary they just left Ferrari in the dust. But here's the most amazing part of the story. After he'd won, after he'd proven he could build better road cars, his team came to him, buzzing with excitement. They said, let's go all the way. Let's build a race car and beat Ferrari on the track. That was the ultimate mimetic trap, right? To just keep escalating the rivalry forever. But Lamborghini did the unthinkable. He said no. And that's the real genius here. Lamborghini understood the game he was in. He used his rival as fuel to become great. But he wasn't a slave to the rivalry. He knew when to walk away. He chose his own finish line, instead of letting Ferrari define the race for him forever. And that, right there, is real power.
So, all of this brings us back to you and me. The Lamborghini story is incredible, but it's not just about supercars. It's about having the power to choose. If we know we're all caught up in this web of mimetic desire, how do we get free? How do we actually start choosing what we want for ourselves?
Well, it all starts with just a little bit of awareness. First, look around your inner world and be really honest. Who is your Ferrari? Is it that colleague whose career you're always tracking? That friend whose life on Instagram makes you feel just a little bit of envy? Next, look up at your outer world models. Who are the people you truly admire, and what specific goals have they sparked in you? Just connecting those dots starts to reveal the hidden blueprint of your own desires.
Because once you can actually see your models, you can start to question their influence. Are they guiding you toward a life you genuinely want? Or are you just trapped in a rivalry that's going nowhere? The moment you can name your models, it's like you take away their invisible power over you. It gives you the space to finally ask, wait, is this my desire or is it theirs? And really, that's the question I want to leave you with. This isn't about trying to live in a bubble free from all influence. That's impossible. It's about moving from unconscious imitation to conscious choice. Because once you understand the game of desire, you don't have to be a pawn in it. You get to decide which games are worth playing and which ones are worth walking away from. So, who are you letting choose your desires?